If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, comment, and subscribe to my YouTube channel, as well as follow me and subscribe to me on all my other social media platforms. What's up, Thrashers, and welcome back once again to the Thrash Maniac 99 YouTube channel, and I am back with another CD collection update for you guys. So these next couple of updates are a little bit smaller in scale, and that's because I'm trying to do the updates as I'm trying to get stacks of stuff coming along. So I got a little stack here, and then there will be another little stack for the next update. And also, I am actually in the preparation of going on vacation next month, going up to Mommy Bay up in Toledo, meaning record shops, and also meeting up with my buddies over at the Thralls and Metal. So be on the lookout for possible videos with myself and the Thralls gang, or something along those lines. You just have to wait and see. But anyways, so why don't we get started with this update. So I got, mostly this update's revolving around completing 2 discographies. Well, technically 3, but you'll understand. So we're going to kick things off with Ascended Dead's Evenfall of the Apocalypse. So this one came out this year on 20 bucks spin, and I was meaning to do an Under the Radar episode, and this was going to be one of those albums on that episode. I think this came out sometime in like late May, early June of this year, and I didn't get to do an episode on Under the Radar about this, but I did briefly talk about it in the community tab over on my YouTube channel page, and pretty much what I said in that was, holy shit, this is some sinister, gross sounding death metal. This is almost like a hybrid of Slayer and early Morbid Angel. Like, it's got a lot of thrashy nods to it, but it's got a lot of those like signature evil tremolos of a Morbid Angel. But the vocals remind me a little bit of like Martin Van Drunen, although more dry and a little more unwieldy. But yeah, I would say right now this is a album of the year contender, or at least top 15. Like I said, there's been so much competition this year, so it's hard to tell where this is going to end up, especially since I'm only doing top 30 this year and not top 50 like I did for 2022. That was just whew. But still, Ascended Dead, Evenfall of the Apocalypse. If you are a fan of evil death metal in the vein of like Morbid Angel, I would say maybe Deicide, but also a little bit of Slayer, I'd say this is definitely one you should check out. Next up, we have Avenged Sevenfold, Life is But a Dream. And this one was actually a present from my mom. She got this for me at Walmart. This is actually the Walmart exclusive for the album, hence why the album cover is just a little bit different. But luckily, there's no editing done to the vocals on here, at least when it comes to the lyrics. But yeah, basically, this album, it's been highly divisive ever since it come out. Like, there's a lot of people that really love it, and then you have some people who hate it, and then you have people who are kind of in the middle who are just like, what the hell is this? I'm kind of in that, like, in between what the hell is this and loving it. There are songs on here I still really like. Like, the first 6 tracks, I still really, really enjoy. Ordinary has kind of become a bit of a sleeper hit for me, even though I do not like the auto-tune on the vocals towards the end. But as a standalone song, it's fun. It's annoyingly catchy. But yeah, pretty much this album, for the most part, it's like I don't listen to Easier, G, as much, or even like the last 2 tracks as much. I still will listen to songs like Mattel and We Love You, Cosmic and Beautiful Morning. Like, those have pretty much remained the 4 songs I still go back to on this album. But yeah, definitely it's an adjustment album, I will say. So if you want to know my full opinion, check out my review about it. And yeah, Avenged Sevenfold, Life is But a Dream. So now we got a pair here from Black Sabbath, both live albums from the Dio and Ozzy era. So first we have Live Evil from the Dio era, and then we have Live Reunion with Ozzy. Vastly different albums here, and Live Evil, I talked about it briefly in my Black Sabbath album ranking, I think, that pretty much it was this album that led to the end of the Dio era originally, because when they recorded this, like after every show on the tour they were doing for the Live Evil performances, like Dio and Tony would sneak behind each other's backs to fix up the mixes, and they had different ideas on how the mix should sound. And it pretty much led to a falling out between the band and Dio. So, yeah, this was the album that ended the Dio era originally, but it's still a great live album. Dio putting on a hell of a performance, doing classics from the Ozzy era, as well as some of the Dio era stuff like Heaven and Hell, Sign of the Southern Cross, Mob Rules, Neon Nights, Children of the Sea, and those songs. So, yeah, this is still a really good live album. As for Live Reunion, 1998, this was when you had the original four back together of Ozzy, Tony, Geezer, and Bill. And it's another amazing live album, including 2 studio tracks, Selling My Soul and Psycho Man, which were the last studio tracks, I think, that the original 4 of Sabbath ever recorded before all the chicanery was going on around 2011 when it was originally announced Bill Ward would be a part of the Sabbath reunion and then end up not being there. But still, 2 really good live albums, probably the best from the Dio era and the best from the Ozzy era. So, yeah, I'm happy to have both of these finally. So pretty much now I got all of the Black Sabbath I could want. Unless I ever decide to get Technical Ecstasy, Never Say Die, Seventh Star, and Forbidden as a completionist, but I don't see myself getting those albums anytime soon. But yeah, a couple of Black Sabbath lives. Moving on, we get to another possible album of the year contender, and that is Creeping Death with Boundless Domain. I reviewed this one, and holy shit does this album kick ass. Very much old school death metal with some like bolt thrower moments and also a little bit of influence from some of the modern death metal acts like Frozen Soul and Gatecreeper a little bit. So yeah, very much in the vein of those 2 bands, but very inspired by Bolt Thrower. But there is also some really cool thrashy parts on here, but the groove on this album is just mind-blowing. If you want to know my full opinion about this album, go check out my review and you'll understand. But yeah, Creeping Death. So now, moving on to another album that was kind of a surprise for 2023, and that is Cruachan, The Living and the Dead. I did review this one as well, so yeah, this was kind of an update where I was mostly trying to get some stuff from 2023 that I had been needing to pick up, and this was one of them. But yeah, this was one of those surprise albums because I had never listened to Cruachan prior to this album, and I listened to this and I was amazed at the talent of the songwriting on this album. Keith Fay, I believe that's his name, the frontman and guitarist, he delivers some great riffs, some cool leads, and some awesome vocals, whether they be the gruff cleans or the almost like that German thrash metal scream. Not so much black metal scream, but more like a German thrash scream, like Mille from Creator a little bit. But yeah, this is blackened folk metal, classic heavy metal. It's kind of like a hybrid of little hints of black metal, but it's mostly classic metal and folk metal. Although there is one song where they get a little bit death metal towards the end, like Morbid Angel. But yeah, lots of Thin Lizzy and Iron Maiden vibes, which makes sense considering this is an Irish band and Thin Lizzy, the king of Ireland, the kings of Ireland, honestly. But yeah, Cruachan, The Living and the Dead. If you have not checked this album out, I suggest giving it a listen. There's some really good things about this. Alright, and then next up, another discography completed, at least when it comes to major releases, and that is Darkthrone, Goatlord Original. So this came out earlier this year. This was the original instrumental rehearsal tapes from the Goatlord sessions, which for those who don't know about the Goatlord sessions, it was a demo recording they were doing after Soulside Journey came out, so it was kind of still in that like death metal vein. But then they decided to quickly drop Goatlord to go on to make A Blaze in the Northern Sky, because that was when Darkthrone made the shift from death metal to black metal. So this is the original tapes, and it's all instrumental. None of the vocals that Fenriz did horribly on in 1994, which I have that version of Goatlord too. Not that great in terms of vocals, but the music's still really good, and it's just cool to have the instrumental bits. But they're all different song titles for the most part, like Phantasm, Hearses, Possessed, but you still get like A Blaze in the Northern Sky, and I think even an early demo of the song Blasphemer from Total Death. So you got some cool nods on here, and yeah, I would recommend you check this out. If you want to hear the instrumental demos from the Goatlord sessions, this is the version to get. Perhaps not so much the version that came out in 96. But yeah, that's just my opinion, but still check it out and form your own opinions. Alright, and now we get into completing yet another discography. So, of course, this band's kind of relevant to me right now since I just saw them live, and that is Gojira. So I got the remaining... Actually, I forgot one. So yeah, a little awkward grab right there. I'm not going to edit that out, so screw it. But anyways, I got the remaining 4 Gojira albums that I was missing. I already had The Link, From Mars to Sirius, and L'Enfant Sauvage, so I needed to get the rest. So we kick it off with Terra Incognita, the debut album, 2001. Very much that kind of death metal worship, like Morbid Angel most particularly. Yeah, this was really, I think, the most death metal Gojira ever was. And there's some killer tracks on here, like Lizard Skin, Satan is a Lawyer, which is kind of a funny title, Deliverance in the Forest, Fire is Everything. Yeah, there's some killer tracks on here. Like I said, this is probably the most death metal-oriented Gojira album out there. After all, it was pretty much all songs they were doing under the name Godzilla, so that makes sense. But yeah, really good debut. And then we get one of the big ones, The Way of All Flesh, which, holy shit, this album is insane. Songs like Vacuity, The Art of Dying, that song is just a 10-minute opus of just brutal prog death metal right there. And I remember hearing that song live this past week, and I was just headbanging at that middle triplet chugging blast section. Headbanged so much I had to grab the fence from behind me to keep from falling over from dizziness, because it was that powerful. Of course, Esoteric Surgery, Adoration for None, Toxic Garbage Island, the title track. Killer songs. If I ever rank Gojira, which honestly I'm thinking I'm probably going to end up doing that in 2024, this one might rank pretty high up. But anyways, and then we get Magma, which I did review this when it came out in 2016, and yeah, this was seen as a really divisive album for a lot of fans because it wasn't, like, the songs weren't nearly as long, like they were more shorter in length. But they delivered in writing shorter material, like Shooting Star, Silvera, which I got to see live, The Cell, Stranded. Like, I got to see the 3 big hits on here, Silvera, The Cell, and Stranded, live, which was really cool. Other great ones on here, like Only Pain, the title track. There are some really good songs on here. It's just Gojira in a shorter format, but they did it pretty well. And then finally, we have the latest one, Fortitude, which I think I did review when it came out in 2021. If not, I feel ashamed. But yeah, this is a good album. It would definitely probably be in the bottom half of Gojira albums for me, only because I just need more time with it, and also, yeah, some of the songs could have been a little bit better, but they did play quite a few songs from this live, like The Chant, Grind, Another World, Amazonia. Like, they did play quite a few songs off of this. I think they were supposed to play Born for One Thing, but they cut it from the set, which it's okay, but yeah, they did play some pretty good tunes off of this, and this is a really good album, but might be lower in the ranking if I ever do the ranking, which, again, as I'm talking about, I'm probably going to have to rank Gojira in 2024 after seeing them live, so, but yeah, that's all the Gojira I have, and moving on. Next up, we got one that I got really cheap, and that is Rob Zombie Hellbilly Deluxe. So yeah, basically I got probably the one, I might get Sinister Urge as well, but I pretty much got the Rob Zombie solo album I was wanting for a long time. After all, Super Beast, Dracula, Living Dead Girl, those are staples of Rob Zombie to this day, and they're fun, catchy songs. May not be my style of metal, but it's still really good. 1998, it is what it is. So yeah, Rob Zombie. And now moving on to the final 5, which is all from the same band and another discography completed, and that is Tsjuder, Norwegian black metal legends. So I only had Desert Northern Hell, which is an amazing album, but I pretty much went and got everything else. So we got the debut album, Kill for Satan, which raw, gritty, brutal, and aggressive. After all, that is the thing that I do love about Tsjuder, is that they're more about the riffs rather than atmosphere. And that's what I want in my black metal. I want more riffs. I don't want as much atmosphere. Like, I appreciate atmosphere in black metal, but I want to be able to hear riffs that aren't just cold tremolos and blast beats all the time. Like, I want to hear recognizable, notable riffs. Tsjuder does it right. And this was pretty much the beginning of it. This came out in 2000. Yes, pretty much all these are reissues from Season of Mist. But yeah, Kill for Satan. And then we get to the sophomore album, Demonic Possession, where songwriting got a little bit more refined, like they were writing longer pieces on here. And this was just 2 years after Kill for Satan. And they were kind of undergoing a bit of a lineup shift because their drummer, Anti-Christian, I think was injured, I want to say, and he couldn't do the drums, so they got somebody else to do drums, but he does a great job. The title track, Demonic Possession, is... Or actually, no, what am I talking about? I might be thinking of the song Demonic Supremacy from another album that I'll touch on maybe later, but still... Demonic Possession, really good follow-up. And then, of course, you had Desert Northern Hell, and then that was it for a while, until 2011, when they came back with Legion Helvete, where the production getting a little bit more, I don't want to say polished, but a little bit better produced. After all, the song Slakt, I think I'm saying that wrong, that's a killer fucking track, and that was one of the big standouts for me about this album. But yeah, 2011, this was their return after 7 years since Desert Northern Hell, and the band has been going pretty much ever since this point. Granted, long release times, but still really good stuff right here with Legion Helvete. And then the follow-up 4 years later, we have Antiliv, which this is where Demonic Supremacy comes in. And that's a killer fucking track with an awesome, kind of groovy end. And yeah, I think this was the last album the drummer Anti-Christian was in before he left in 2021, I want to say. But yeah, this was the last one for a while for Tsjuder, even though they were still touring after this album. Didn't really get any studio output out until we get Helvegr, which came out in June, late June. So this album, only about 2 months old, and it's still probably my favorite black metal album of the year. After all, Gods of Black Blood, Presta Hamren, Iron Beast, the title track. Those are some killer fucking tracks. And this version, this is the box set edition, which comes with a shooter pin, which I gotta put on the battle vest, couple of drink koozies, and then that has 2 CDs. So you have the actual album Helvegr, and then a Bathory Tribute CD, which is an EP of covers from the Scandinavian black metal attack compilations. You got them covering The Return, Satan My Master, Born for Burning, Reaper, and Raise the Dead. And of course, what's cool is they actually got the original bassist of Bathory, Fredrik Melander, to do the bass on this EP, which is pretty fucking cool. So a little tie-in to the old school. But yeah, fun EP and an amazing full length right here for y'all. So that pretty much all things shooter now I have in the collection, which I couldn't be happier. And that does it for this collection update. So yeah, a little mini stack. Currently working on another stack. I feel like after I get a couple more CDs in the mail pretty soon, I will do an update video for that, but it probably won't post until end of the month or early September. I'm thinking probably early September will be when it comes out. But working on getting discographies of a couple other bands, and then prepping for vacation in Toledo, where I'll probably get some more good stuff. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this update. What was your favorite album of the whole stack? And until next time, keep your horns high and your dreams wet.